Hey, what's going on? Just wanted to get back on here tonight and talk a little bit of AFC North Division football. Um, you always hear that this may be the toughest division in football. So, I just want to talk about it a little bit and kind of get your opinion on what you guys think. Um, Starting off, you look at the quarterbacks in this division. You got the reigning MVP in Lamar Jackson for the Baltimore Ravens. You had Joe Burrow, got to the Super Bowl a couple years ago. Um, you got Deshaun Watson, I think he's still trying to find himself, and there's a lot of questions with him. And then you got the newcomer, Russell Wilson, which, he has a lot to prove. A lot of people think he's washed up, so he got a lot to show, So I'm just thinking when I look at this division, um, I would say it's probably the best division in football right now. You know, each team, they play each other twice, so you're not really going to get any type of blowouts in any of those games. I mean, everybody's going to play everybody tough. Um, Me personally, so people will say that Baltimore is kind of the top team. I mean, they won the division last year, but I think Baltimore is a team that they're going to win a lot of regular season games. And the reason I say that because just the style that Lamar play, if you haven't played him, played against him in 4 years or 2 years, how some of these other teams are, that style can really be hard to get used to. And by the time you think you got used to it, you 20 points down. Um, So I think Baltimore has always been set up. They're going to win a lot of regular season games, but when you notice when they get into the playoffs, it's kind of tough on them. And I think most of the teams in the division, they're used to playing with Lamar. They're used to the speed that he plays at doesn't really devastate them as much as it devastates other teams because they just at this point they're used to it, and so they got a bead on him. And like with the Steelers, I think the Steelers play him better than anybody. I mean, if you look at his career numbers against Pittsburgh, they're not good. I want to say in the last 10, he's like 4-6 against the Steelers, and two of those wins that he got were against Duck Hodges and I think Mason Rudolph. So I mean, the Steelers pretty much have his number. I like the way they play him because what they really what the Steelers do to him is on every play they hit him. I mean, if he's handing the ball off, any type of read option, they're tattooing him. And if you notice late in games against the Steelers, he usually makes that crucial mistake because I think he's pretty much beat up. So I think the Steelers really kind of got Lamar's number a little bit. Um, Jump over to Joe Burrow. I think right now, if I had to take a quarterback, I would probably say Joe Burrow is probably the best quarterback. But the deal with him is I mean, in my opinion, if he gets hurt again this year, I'm going to give him that injury prone tag. Um, it's seemed like the last couple of years he can't stay healthy, and that's a big thing. The Bengals line has been terrible. They kind of beefed it up a little bit, and I expect them to do even some more stuff in the draft to try to get that line together. But Joe Burrow has to stay healthy. But I think a healthy Joe Burrow is, he's a problem. He's kind of remind you of Joe Cool Montana. He's just he's good, but like I say, right now he has to prove that he can stay healthy. And without him being healthy, Cincinnati just they've been having problems. Then you go to in Cleveland with Deshaun Watson. Um, I mean, I'm a Steeler fan and I live in Cleveland, so I hear it all, and nobody really want to be truthful. I'm not gonna say Deshaun. I'm not gonna say he's washed up, but you know, they want to go and say, the 5,000 yards he almost threw for, and that last good year he had in Houston. Well, that was 4 years ago, and he hasn't put a good season together since. He's kind of dealing with injuries, and he's coming back from a shoulder injury. So I think even like with him, this is a big year. I mean, I, f- I feel like if he doesn't show it this year, I wouldn't even be shocked. I don't I don't know with that contract. I don't know if the Browns can move away from him, but I mean, look what Denver did with Russell Wilson. I mean, they basically ate $85 million or whatever it was. So I don't know if the Browns are in that situation because I want to say his dead cap might even be more than that. But at some point, you know, you're gonna have to produce. So I think this is a big year for him, and I just have a feeling if he doesn't really show it this year, then I know how this city is, and they will turn on him very very fast. And I think they're almost at that point right now of doing that. But he has this year he got to show something. And like I said, if he doesn't show it this year, it'll turn bad for him real quick. Then you have the Steelers. Russell Wilson, a lot of people kind of, say that he's kind of washed up or whatever. But I mean, he threw 26 touchdowns last year against 8 interceptions. And I think he only played in 16 games because they benched him for that last game. Um, so I mean that was a decent year for. I mean, if that's washed up, like I said, I'd take it because I mean, Steelers only got like 26 touchdown passes in the last 2 years, and he was able to just do that last year. But I think also the offense that he played in, it wasn't his type of offense, and he was with a coach that kind of wanted to do it his way, and that offense didn't fit Russell, and he didn't try to compromise with him to try to change anything. Hey, this is my offense, and this is what we're gonna do. So that was a bad deal. And then the year before that, I mean, he might have been with the worst head coach in NFL history. So to be honest, I think his time in Denver was just a disaster. Now with Arthur Smith, he's going to put him back in that type of offense that he's really strived at Seattle in, and a lot of play action, a lot of throwing that deep moon ball down the field. Um, a lot of short and dunk stuff. Um, so this is going to be a good year for him. And then also, that he has a running game that he should be able to lean on. So this is, this is a perfect situation for him. And I'm quite sure when he had meetings with the Steelers, I think he probably looked at that and probably thought that, this is the best situation for me. And with his offense, I fit in his offense pretty well. So we'll just see how it goes. Now, as far as the defense, when you go to the defensive side, um, everybody has a solid defense. I think Cincinnati defense may be the weakest defense in this division. And not saying that their defense is bad, but they've made a couple of free agent moves. Their secondary kind of let them down last year, so we'll see how that goes. But you got Baltimore. Baltimore had the best defense in the division, I think, last year. But they've lost a lot of players, and then especially losing Patrick Queen to the Steelers. That's not going to help. Um, in Cleveland, that defense, they did some good things last year. But again, when you really dig deep into the numbers and look at their situation, I mean their defense was lights out and home. But if you look at the quarterbacks that they beat, it was a lot of garbage guys. Um, and then you go on the road, it was like night and day. And to me, if you're really a legit defense, um, you don't have that big a gap that you play this way at home and then you get on the road and you're just terrible. And then you see what happened to them in the playoffs. I mean, they got their doors blown off. So there's a lot of questions with them. Um, but for the most part, like I say, everybody got a solid defense. I think the Steelers defense this year. Still, they had a little problems in the secondary. If they can get the second cornerback position figured out, that'd be huge. I think Joey Porter is going to be a star. I just want to see him, you know, tackle a little better. I mean, especially a guy that for his size, he should be tackling a little better than what he did last year. So they're going to have to figure out their number two cornerback. Safeties, hopefully, Fitzpatrick can get back healthy. And then with bringing in Elliott, that's going to actually free Fitzpatrick up to be that free safety and roam the middle of the field and do the things that he do. Last year he kind of had to do a little bit of everything. He had to play in the slot. He had to do a lot of run support. So that kind of wasn't his thing. So maybe now they can get him back to what he does best. Um, the linebackers, I think it's going to be huge. I think it's going to be huge to get Patrick Queen in here now. They finally got that guy since Shazier been hurt. They haven't been able to fill that position. So now they finally got a guy that can run, that can come downhill, lay a thump on you, can go into coverage. So that linebacker core is really good now. And then I mean, obviously everybody know about T.J. Watt. I think he's gonna come back on a mission. I'm predicting it, and I'll say it right now that this will be the year that he breaks the all-time sack for a season. I think he beats that 22 this year. I mean, I think he's gonna play pissed off all year because I mean, like I say, and I'm not gonna go into that debate, but he should have been a defensive player of the year. I don't know what that all was about, but I think he's going to be pissed, and I see him breaking the record this year. I mean, I can see TJ going for about 24 sacks this year. Um, Highsmith is still improving. He's going to be a guy that's going to give you 6, 7 sacks. But he does everything else pretty well, and then it seems like he always around to make that big play at that right moment. So, like I say, him and TJ, they form a good outside rush coming from both sides. On the defensive line, got a little questions. Hayward, got to see how Hayward how he does. Coming back. He injuries last year. Had a lot of injuries last year, so we see how that go. I think Bennett is going to actually be a star. He's have a very bright future. That kid is going to be good. Maybe in the draft they gonna have to try to get another guy. Maybe. Other than that, I just think this division is going to be tough. I mean, I think you're going to have to win probably 11, 12 games to feel comfortable of winning this division. I don't know. Um, if everybody, well, I don't think all four would make the playoffs. I know last year everybody was over 500. I can kind of see that happening again, um, especially if everybody stays healthy. Like Cincinnati, they're going to play a last place schedule, so that's going to help them out huge. And like I say, if Burrow stays healthy, they're going to win a lot of games. I think Pittsburgh going to win a lot of games. Baltimore, like I say, Baltimore is designed to win a lot of games in the regular season. So, they're going to do their thing. Cleveland, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you, Cleveland's going to be the team that's I kind of question, but I can still see them finishing over 500. So that's 9 games. That's 9 to 10 games. So this division is going to be tough again. I mean, they're going to beat each other up. um, Pittsburgh actually went 5-1 in the division last year. They had the best division record. They didn't win the division, but they had the best division record. But I could see everybody winning at home and probably losing on the road. So they're pretty much even. And like I say, when it comes to division games, those games can go any kind of way because everybody's used to playing each other, and it's nothing pretty much new that they can do or show. But even though I think Pittsburgh is going to actually be the team that nobody going to have to kind of figure out because they got a new offensive coordinator, and I just think they're going to do a lot of things. Like I said, they got that running game. Now you got Cordell Patterson that I think he's going to play a lot. He's going to play more probably running back, but he's going to be a guy that you can flex him out and jet sweeps and quick little hitters to him. So the Steelers going to be they're going to be pretty tough because I feel like for the last 4 years, I think the Steelers have been very easy to play against on offense. I mean, because that's why I've never been that type person that been down on Najee Harris because for the last 3 years the kid been running into a wall. I mean, if you noticed last year when you got a confident quarterback in there, teams had to bag off. They couldn't put that extra man down in the block to stop the run. And then you could see Najee and Jalen Warren. They ran wild. But I think this year it's going to be more of the same that you're not going to be able to put that safety down in the box to stop the run because if you do, now you're going to leave Pickens one on one, and like I say, Russell Wilson going to sit up. He's just going to sit back and throw those big moon balls, and Pickens, if he throws 6 of them, he's going to get 4 of them, and they're going to be for some big yardage. So I think the Steelers' offense is really going to be kind of difficult to play against, and then like I say, they're kind of going to be doing a lot of new stuff. Even though I know the Browns got a new offensive coordinator, but we'll just see how they do. I mean, I'm hearing that they just want to throw the ball a lot, and I don't see them doing that. But who knows? Um, then you have a lot of people talking about Nick Chubb, and let me say this about Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb is the one guy. If I had to take anybody off that team, I mean, he. I like how he play. He's a no nonsense guy. I mean, he just does everything right. I mean, I was devastated to see when he got hurt like that because I just not just he plays for the Browns, so I should hate him. Um, I respect his game, and from what I see, he seems like he's a nice young man. So I do hope that he can get come back from that. But that was a devastating injury, and it was crazy because I was actually at the Tennessee game when he played for Georgia when he blew his knee out there. So it seemed like I hadn't seen every time this guy get hurt, I hadn't seen it. But it's gonna be tough for him to come back from that. And but I guess if anybody could, with his work ethic, I could see maybe him coming back. But that's gonna be a long road for him. So I just want to, I wish him luck. I mean, when I'm not competing against him, but still as a competitor, I hope he can make it back. Um, like I say, this is gonna be a good this is gonna be a good fight this year. So we'll see, how things go. I got some stuff I'm working on for the draft, and we'll go from there. All right, bye bye. Take care.